Hello everyone and welcome back to TJC Gaming, and this week we're doing Race B at Spa, so in the Group 3 cars. Now this has been really good racing and I want to give a shout out to Joey Joe 1988 because these two races I'm going to show you here, the first 2 out of 3, were really good and it was very close between us, and yeah, he's a great guy. And after the race we would congratulate each other for coming really well, and I think that he added me on YouTube here. So if you're watching there, Joey, big shout out to you, man. You made me work for this, so yeah, well done, and hopefully you can beat me next time, man. So this week, race B, it's only 3 laps, a very short race, and you're going to be on race hard tires through the whole way, obviously. And the important thing here is how to win this is pretty simple. Consistency is the one thing that you want, the very first thing. And the second thing is you've got to qualify very well. There is a massive advantage to being on pole position at this track, as you can see, because when it lets you go at the rolling start, there is a big gap on the rolling start between you and P2. However, sometimes it's not always that way, and I'll show you that later in the video. So yeah, coming through the back end of the circuit here, the most important thing is just to keep it on the curbs, and you really want to brake where the curbs start. Be wary in the first lap. I always find, like here, going wide, I always find the track feels kind of dusty. I don't know why. I don't know if it's just me that feels this, but you go through some corners and you just kind of like lose grip. I don't know if that's a real thing or just me over pushing it, I just don't know. But maybe you guys could drop a comment down below and tell me if you feel the same way. But yeah, it does feel like the first lap the tires are colder. But there are people that would state that the tires do not get cold in the race A and race B, but only for the race C. So I don't know, but to me it feels like the tires are kind of cold or the track's dusty the first lap. So that's something to watch out for. So in qualifying, you would want to try either the Volkswagen VGT or the Lamborghini Huracan. The reason why is because the power of those cars. The Huracan isn't the best at handling. You've really got to get used to it. So more for qualifying than the race, I'd say. So as you can see here, I took the Mercedes. So it's very predictable. And it's not very hard to keep it planned to the track. So as you can see here, I won the first race, and again shout out to Joey Joe, you did great, man. And that was the second race I did of the day. I won 3 races so far, I think it is. So 63 wins, and yeah, I was really glad. But this is the best bit. After the race, you just have a chat with the guys you're racing with, and you just congratulate them on how they've done. And there's such good team spirit in this lobby and the next one as well. So yeah, it's always good to meet nice players and have a good competition on your hands there. So we raced a few times against Joey and I won all 3 of them, but this one was quite close too. Again, I'm in pole position with a 2:18. I pushed quite hard for that. I put in maybe 45 minutes of qualifying time into getting down to the 18s. The top EU players are in the 16s, and to get to the 16s you have to maximize every inch of track. You have to run wide and power through most of the curbs, but I'm quite happy with that. My time is 1.7% off the top EU time right now, so I'm quite happy with that. I don't want to spend 200 miles or 320 kilometers busting out a qualifying time. Qualifying is quite boring to me in a way. It's a necessity, sure, but it is quite boring. So I like to put down a time that's relative to the class that I'm driving in, that I think will put me quite high up the grid. And then at that point, I'm just happy. I'll just leave it at that, and then I'll just go and race and see what happens. So the first races I did on Race B this week, I was quite nervous actually. I wasn't very well practiced in driving around Spa in the Group 3s. So it took me a little bit to calm my nerves a little and get in the flow of things. But when you do get in the flow of things, everything just comes naturally. And you just push as fast and hard as you can, but you just try and limit your mistakes. So through here this time, I went through there a little bit better than before. Remember, I went wide in the last race, so I wasn't too wide there, and I was just right on the right line. And again, yeah, just a nice short race. I think it's like 7 minutes long, just over 7 minutes or under 7 minutes, depending on how fast you are. And yeah, I wish it was longer, but in a way, I kind of don't as well, because when you get short races like this and you win them, your wins start racking up and your poles start racking up pretty fast. So that's always good for your profile, especially if you're trying to platinum the game. So that's a pretty good thing to do, because I'm a Race C fanatic, as we probably all know, and I just love me my Race C. So, but yeah, sometimes a short race is good too, in that you can enjoy it and just see where you end up anyway. But Race A this week, that's at Suzuka, the short course in the Group 4s. And Race C is at Dragon Trail Seaside Reverse. But that's also dominated by the same group of cars, and that's the front wheel drive Group 4s. So anyway, skipping forward to lap 3 here, you can see that Joey here has caught right up. He's done really well. He's pushed super hard to get up here. And now I have to defend. I've got like 3/4 of the lap to go, and I have to make sure that I keep him far enough back in the slipstream that he gets the dirty air going over his car, but also the fact that I don't want him to get too close and then he can make a move. So that's the important thing. You've got to learn how to drive defensively as well, but keep it on the line. Make sure you don't get off line, because if you get dirty tires in this game on the track or just going off the track, you have the punishment of the next corner that you have like zero grip basically. So I think most people know that who's actually watching the video, but for those who don't, if you go wide in the corner, the next corner you come to, that dust is still on your tires. So basically you have zero grip, you have to brake earlier, and if you brake at the same part as you did before, when you had clean tires the lap previously, that's when you encounter things like spinning and going off. So dirty tires, very real in this game. The understeer and oversteer you can get from following in dirty air behind, very real as well. So you've got to be aware of these things if you're in the lead, and you've got to try and use these things to your advantage. So we're just coming through to the bus stop now, lap 3 of 3. And I'm just taking it nice and gently through here. I want to get through here in one piece. And Joey's being very respectful, and he's not chucking it just down the inside. But we will come to some controversy, and we will come there very soon too. But yeah, great race there. Congrats to Joey and everyone else on the podium. So yeah, again after the race, we said congratulations to each other, and it's always good to meet clean racers. So the next race we will end up coming to is also a great race. However, you're going to see some controversy in it. So at the time, I was kind of 50-50 on what happened here. It wasn't the biggest drama in the world ever. I didn't save the reaction to it, unfortunately, but I will tell you what happened. So just congratulating Joey there, and hopefully Joey picked up some wins too. So here we go to the race I'm talking about. So this one, I'm actually in second place, and that's quite surprising in a way to me, because I've been qualifying on pole. So anyway, I think that when I start here, I'm going to be quite far back and not in the toe. However, I seem to be in the toe as soon as we start here. So I don't know if the guy in first place didn't get off the line well, or my car is just faster. I just really don't know. But the Audi R8 isn't very fast in a straight line compared to how it used to be, because it did receive quite a big nerf. So I know that my car does have good straight line speed, but the Audi is a mid-rear, so it has the handling aspect of it. And that's always important to remember, because when you're racing against different cars in the same class, you have to know their strengths and their weaknesses. So anyway, so we're going to see my strength versus this car's weakness right here. So we got in the tow here, we're coming through Eau Rouge, up through Rédéon, and yeah, we're gonna try and stick it down the inside. So let's see what happens here. We pull out, we come down the inside, and we want to get to the apex of the corner first. So this is what we tried to do. However, he covers it off pretty well, but he goes wide. So I do the old come down the inside and just try to power out the corner. And again, this isn't the controversial part. This is actually some of the best clean racing I've had in this game for a long time. So it's just a shame that kind of didn't continue, but we'll see. So again, watch, he goes wide, I come down the inside, full power, and now I can get the switchback done. So we're side by side here, but this is where my car comes in handy, because this is where the power aspect allowed me to get past the Audi. So there we go, the overtake is done. Last lap, I'm in the lead. So let's see that again from outside. And just look at the replays on GTA, because that just looks so good. And you're going to see the respectful driving that's going on here between me and this other player too. Yep, through the switchback again. And that's what I love. I love it when like the guy that you're racing with has that visual awareness. He knows you're there. He's got his radar on, or he's using the mirror, and he's not just going to drive into you like a tool and ram you off. And just look at that. There's inches between us, centimeters even, and it's just very, very clean. And that's probably one of the best overtakes I've ever done in this game. So I was pretty impressed with that. So I will go back and rejoin the action now. And so the final lap, I've spent the first 2.5 laps in second place. So I'm thinking, oh damn, I'm gonna win this one, man. I'm gonna win this one. I've just got to keep pushing and just try and keep some dirty air behind me to wash over the car behind, and just try and keep him out of the 0.2 of a second slipstream range, so he doesn't dive into the corner. However, some people don't always respect that little rule. It's like an unwritten rule where if you're more than 0.2 of a second behind, you kind of don't dive into the braking zone. But let's see what happens into the bus stop this time. So I'm going to brake early. I'm going to kind of be on the right to the middle side here. So I brake early, he's on the inside, and I kind of get shoved out the way. I was on full opposite lock, and I finished in second place by 16 thousandths of a second. So I was like, okay. I wasn't too pleased with that, but I didn't make a fuss about it. I said to the driver, I says, well, clean, great racing, I guess, in the chat afterwards. But he says, that was kind of marginal. And I was like, well, you know, I thought it was good racing, but replay. Let's see what happened in his view. So you can see a couple of angles here, and you can decide what you think about this. I braked early, he's braked late, he's got the car on the outside. But watch, where is this gap that he's trying to get into? He's bounced off me 3-4 times. I've got full opposite lock on, and I'm bouncing off his car because I'm trying to straighten it. Now I've got nowhere to go here. I'm the one being bounced off. But the impression that I got was he was trying to blame me for this. So what the hell did I do? It's like, yeah, look, I'm trying to control the car at this point, and yeah, I think that is, to be honest with you, a bullshit way to get a win. But you know, people drive into you and they'll blame you for it, and it's like, okay then. So, but like I say, in contrast completely with the driving before. So there's the controversy right there. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you next time. TJ out.